Oh, Gaijin, your timing is perfect. Hello everyone, welcome to the channel. Now, some of you may have noticed, and thank you for those who messaged me and told me that I should probably rectify this, the damage model of the Be-6 was helpfully fixed less than 24 hours after I made the initial video. So I thought it best to quickly redo the video with its current damage model in mind as to not have false information on the channel, as I don't want that video to put someone off buying the aircraft after it's been fixed. And it has been fixed quite a lot, so I have some very fun games to show you today, which hopefully do point out just how drastic the changes were. This aircraft can soak up a lot of damage now, and the problem with pilot snipes getting wings cut off, it's completely gone, and it allows the guns to be a lot more effective because you can take those few vital hits that you're probably going to take while you're getting the guns on target, which is something which made the TU4 quite overpowered, as most people will put it. But it makes this vehicle very, very effective now, and you can be quite aggressive with it as well. When I was playing it before, I couldn't really get myself into the mindset to play this plane aggressively, because I knew that if I took one glazing hit, I'd fall apart. And this vehicle has become very, very good, so I'm going to hide the last video. It's going to be unlisted, but it will be linked in the description of this video in case you want to watch it and want to watch me suffer as to how bad it was initially. So I have a bit of a different format. I'm not going to show a single game. I'm going to show a few games and engagements just to show people how I dealt with the different situations, different aircraft, and a little bit of defensive flying thrown in as well, because now that you can take these hits, you can do a little bit of defensive flying. I mean, granted, you're not that maneuverable, so you're still going to take hits, but at least you can take hits. So, without further ado, let's get into the clips I've got. Right, the first engagement we've got is against an F-82 with the gun pod, and I think this clip just sort of shows the incredible deviation from how the prior damage model was to how it is now. You can take damage, and from something like an F-82, I mean, not reliably of course, but still, I survive. So what I'm doing right now is I'm flying away from him. I want him to be slow when he engages me, so I'm going to turn underneath him here. It's quite a heavy aircraft, and I'm just waiting to go right underneath, so I know when he commits I can roll under his guns quite easily, and he's not going to hit that. Cut engine throttle just to make sure I don't rip my aircraft, and he's going to zoom away, come back up and re-engage. But what this means is that the run he has on me is a lot shorter, so he's not going to build up as much speed, and I can make him slower so that when he does engage me, he does start shooting, he's not going to be moving as fast, so it's easier to hit. So, he's coming back on his approach now, and I think the damage I take just speaks for itself. Of course, my aim isn't very good, I will completely admit that. I don't have a lot of practice with the guns, but just wait for him to get nice and close, and he starts to very slowly pepper my aircraft with the stealth, but even so, take off his wing, set one engine alight, and all I lose is an engine, and I get a bit of damage to my left wing. But I'm still flying, and I go on to kill a B-17 after this, which you saw in one of the earlier clips. So, on to the next one. Right, so the next clip is again against an F-82, but this one's a little bit different, and I do get quite a fun and satisfying kill. Because I think the mindset for this has changed. I feel I can be a lot more aggressive now, and that does lead for some quite fun moments. So the F-82 begins its dive here. I'm just going to get a little bit low and make sure that when he commits to the dive, I have presented a very minimal slice of my aircraft, so he's not going to get shots on. So he starts initially rolling down. I tilt my aircraft to the left to face him so I can get my top gunner on top. Get some glazing hits, roll over to the other side, do the exact same thing, score a few hits, and then turn the plane completely upside down, get a crit, roll back over onto the side, and rip his wing off. Come on, Tars. That's probably my first 360 kill. So after that we get a P-47M coming in. I just try, get a bit of lead, try and snipe him, but again, I don't have the best aim with these guns. He pulls right in onto the tail, and does take off my wing, but I do trade as well, And that was the third kill that match, which was quite the deviation from how this plane performed before. And it was quite a bit of fun to get that kill on the F-82. So, on to the next clip. So, this one starts off with an A-26 tailing me. He doesn't have quite long convergence, so he can't hit me here, but I do start to spray to hopefully put him off and make him fly a bit more defensive, so I can guarantee an easy kill. I try to do some sniping, but my aim is absolutely awful with these guns, and all I do is score a few hits. But taking that hit to his engine does make him fly a bit more defensive, and he tries to go underneath me to avoid my guns and get into my blind spot. But with him being quite a heavy aircraft, I can afford to do a bit more defensive flying. He enters my blind spot here, so I turn up, keeping in gunner view so I can maintain fire. And from the damage he's sustained, I can easily roll away from his guns and level out as he zooms past me, presenting a very nice silhouette shot. And even with some very sloppy aim, I do take him out quite easily there. After bleeding his speed coming back up, it serves for quite a nice kill. And these next two I don't really do anything impressive in terms of defensive flying, I think, but it just does show that the Be-6 can soak up damage now, and it's become a very dangerous plane indeed, and a very good buy as well. I do recommend this aircraft now, so, you know, I wanted to get this video out quite quickly as to not deter anyone with the prior one. So, we have a Corsair coming in. I just tilt my aircraft slightly so I can make sure I'm definitely going to get one set of 23s on at all times. So spray a little bit with a 23, he tries to get into my blind spot, but comes straight up and takes quite a heavy hit. I take a little bit of damage to the fuselage, which would have killed my pilot a few days ago, but I do take him out. And a little while later we have a Spitfire come in, and I've lost a pontoon as well. Quick note, don't try and land with one pontoon, because your aircraft will sort of fall onto the wing and break it off. Every time it got quite annoying. I do quite like ripping off the pontoons. Anyway, Spitfire comes screeching in. It does present a lovely target with all of the 23s converging. I get the aim quite good and take him out pretty easy, suffering a black fuselage, but who cares? I'm very, very tanky now, and this aircraft can take a lot of fire. So, on to the last clip. So, in this last match I did end up as the last man standing pretty early on, so I knew I wasn't really going to take home the win, but that didn't mean I couldn't take down a lot of fighters with me. So, I'm pretty surrounded at all sides here, but the closest target is this Spitfire, which is slowly but surely moving in on me. I'm just keeping him behind me and weighing up my options because the Mustang's coming in too. I don't want to fly too defensively because the Mustang's going to come in and shred me if I do that. So, I'm going to fire some warning shots at the Spitfire, hopefully make him fly a little bit defensively, because this aircraft can put fighters under pressure. You know, those 23s do put the fear of God into them. So, just doing a little bit of spraying here, making sure he doesn't come in too aggressively and too quickly. And he's wavering a little bit, and at this time the Mustang starts spraying as well. But the Spitfire's closer and the Mustang isn't going to do too much damage to me, so I'm still going to try and put him under pressure first. But now the Mustang's coming a little bit closer and I can line him up for a very nice pilot snipe. Switch my attention immediately back to the Spitfire, who's now come back up for me. A few glazing hits, but nothing bad. He does try and be a bit too out there with his manoeuvres and slows himself down too much and does get his wing taken clean off. So, I do lose an engine at this point, and another good point about this aircraft is it can run pretty well on one engine. They are very powerful, and you can make your way back to base if you're at low altitude and still turn and do some manoeuvres while not falling out of the sky, which is a definite plus, especially for a bomber, and a slow one at that. So, gunners are reloaded, and another Spitfire is coming in. And it's about this time I think it's probably a good choice to drop all of my bombs, as all they're really doing is slowing me down, and I'm going to take out some planes and not bomb bases. So, just trying to position the Spitfire behind me at this point, making sure he's not going to get an easy kill, because I am quite slow, so I do need to be quite careful. He starts coming in for the side, so I angle the airframe slightly to get the top turret in. He comes in, and I'm pretty sure if my aim was good I would have got him here, but I miss every single shot, but pretty much so does he. So he starts diving down here to come right back up, so I roll over him. And especially with the slow speed and the one engine, I do seem to turn a lot faster, and I can effectively out-slow him, which is what I'm trying to do here. He rolls back underneath, and I position him underneath my bottom turret, pitch myself up so he doesn't get into my blind spot, score a few hits but nothing major, and he continues underneath me. So I pitch down to make him overshoot, and just roll out of the way of his guns so I can make sure he comes up nice and slow, gives me a profile, roll the aircraft to the side, and saw his wing off. Now, he doesn't actually crash, but I do count that as another kill, because if the game did go on, he would certainly have not been able to get back to base. So I'm taking a bit of fire from the airfield, so I'm going to fly back to the B point, just in case I can land. And another Spitfire is coming in. And at this point, I can't take too much damage. I've soaked up quite a lot already, and I'm pushing my luck. So I'm just trying to skulk back to base. The Spitfire is flying off, I'm not quite sure what he's doing, but there are plenty of other aircraft in the airspace around me to give me some trouble. So I just wait to see what my options are. I just try and make myself a bit slower and a bit of an easier target for the Spitfire to lure him in, because I don't really want to continue this match. I just want to get as many kills as I can and get out in a blaze of glory. So, Spitfire starts coming in. I think you can see him a bit crippled, so, you know, easy target, I guess. Well, I guess looks can be deceiving, especially with the new damage model of this aircraft. Spitfire comes in quite quickly now. I get into a slight dive so I can have some speed to make sure he's not going to kill my pilot. And in comes a Corsair as well, and the 50 cals are very, very deadly to my pilot. So, switch targets to the Corsair. Miss all of my shots pretty much, but he does go a bit defensive. Spitfire comes in, and I do score a kill on him up there. Corsair then, after taking a few hits, does take out my pilot, which is the end of an effective 4-kill game, I guess. And bloody hell, has this aircraft changed. Right, onto the review screen. I will amend my prior 3 out of 10, as this aircraft is very, very good now. And I think I did have the bonus as well of quite a few players engaging me like they would engage me a few days before, because they're not going to really know that the damage model has changed. So you might find, if you do have this aircraft and you're struggling a bit, taking it out now is a good chance to get quite a lot of kills, because people are going to assume you're still fragile, you're still weak, and they've got an easy kill. But this aircraft is very, very tanky now. Takes a lot of damage, and although the engines are a bit weak, they do get taken out easily. You can survive very well on one engine, and as the clips showed, you can still do defensive flying, make some maneuvers without falling out of the sky, which is something quite a few bombers can't reliably do. So the problem with the armament beforehand was that you wouldn't have enough time to get on target before your pilot would die or your wing would fall off, but now you have that. You have the ability to range your guns in and get that kill while taking light fire, because you can soak up a lot more damage now. The main thing that's going to take the hits is going to be your airframe, which, you know, it's very long, and now that there's actually a proper damage model in place for that, it will take most of the shots up before they reach your pilot to knock you out. And again, the only real way you're going to get pilot sniped in this aircraft now is if an aircraft is engaging you from above and is negating all of that space between the initial entry point of the bullet and your pilot. So if you do want to kill one of these things, above, behind, or in front is probably the better option, because you're going to want to go for that pilot kill, as the damage model is quite tanky now. So this is something that I think you should pick up. Now, I completely changed my mind, and it's now, I guess, quite beginner friendly. The guns are very good. again, it has that decent bomb load. You can go after bases and you can take out fighters, and you can defend yourself pretty much. I mean, I used manual gunners for every engagement I had, but I'm pretty sure that if you left them off and let the AI do it for you, you'll still score a few kills. So yeah, I wanted to get this video out quite quickly because I didn't want to have false information on the channel. I didn't want to put people off buying it. And I suppose it does show how quick Gaijin are at fixing issues. I mean, I had this out for a day, but that's not to say that it was because of the video that they changed it. I'm pretty sure it was in development beforehand. But either way, with these changes, I think this aircraft can be given a round solid 9 out of 10. So there we are. I hope you enjoyed. I'm sorry that it's the same thing 2 days in a row, but I think it was necessary and I wanted to get this out quickly. And there will be another video coming soon, and thank you again for all of your birthday messages. I wasn't expecting that. Yeah, I got more messages from you guys than I got friends and family, so maybe I should work on getting some friends. But either way, it was very much appreciated, and it was really nice reading through your comments, so thank you very much for that. And I'm nearing 1,500 subscribers, which is mad. Never even thought I'd get that high, especially this quickly, but when I do get to that point and I do get Gaijin support, I will introduce a proper update schedule, and I will try and get 2 videos out reliably on set days, twice a week, or maybe even 3 times a week if I can do it. So, yeah, I hope you enjoyed, and again, sorry it's been quite repetitive, but I had to get this out and I had to get this done. And I did have quite a bit of fun taking the aircraft out post-update and getting this footage for you, so thank you very much for watching. I do hope you enjoyed. Leave feedback down below, or any vehicles you'd like to see, and thank you very much. Goodbye.